Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Let's start our today's session, right? So before the mid-semester exam, we have completed uh, some of the
Hello,
topics
sir.
of yes.
Uh, can we review our question paper?
Okay, so I will share or I will post that later on. Okay, so you are able to see that, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's review our last session. So in our last session, we have discussed about the variables, literals, how you can define the variables. Okay, right? So for that, you can just use the let const, that is for constant, and where keyword, right? So with the use of these three keywords, you can define the variables. After that, we have discussed about the various operators. So whatever we have discussed, you have learned in your C++ Java, all that operators are available with us here, right? After that, we have discussed the different types, how you can embed the JavaScript into the HTML page. So in that, we have discussed the inline, right? After that, external, okay, and which was third one, internal, right? So these are the three ways to embed your JavaScript into the HTML page, right? So either you can define your JavaScript in the head section, or you can define your JavaScript in the body section. Okay, so this we have discussed. After that, we have discussed three types of dialog boxes, that is alert box, prompt box, and confirm box, right? Later on, we had also discussed about the functions, right? So how you can create the functions. Okay, after that, we had discussed about the particular conditional statements, loopings, all that we had discussed, right? So I hope we have only covered the theory session. So let's today first we will complete some of the practical sessions and then start with the array. Okay. So here you can see if else and all that you have already studied. So I don't need to repeat that things again and again. Apart from that, we can discuss a new things over here. Okay, so let's first of all discuss with the functions. Okay, so here how you can define the function. So in this example, you can see that we have a function keyword over here. This is a function keyword. After that, you just need to write the function name, and this is the body of that particular function, and here you can write the logic. It's a very simple way to define a function in a JavaScript, right? So in this function, two constant variables are defined. So if you want to define a constant variables, then you have to use a const keyword, right? Here I have used a new way of defining a variable, that is let. We had already discussed about the differences between let and where keyword. Okay, and similarly, sum is equals to a plus b, that is our simple logic to add two numbers, right? And here we are using a document dot write, and we are printing the sum variable, right? Here, this particular portion, you can observe that in a double inverted comma, I have used some HTML tags. So that is allowed over here, right? So ultimately what we are going to do, we are going to print this message in our web browser directly, web page, right? So if you want to write something on the web page directly, then you just use document.write method. So document is an object and write is a method of that particular object. We will learn in a detail of object hierarchy in later sessions, but right now you just remember that for the document object we are having a write method, and the job of write method is to display message. into the web browser directly. Now suppose there is another way to display a message, right? So that is a console.log, right? So when you write console.log sum, okay, so this particular sum value will be displayed on a console, right? So these are the two different methods we have to display the messages. Another method we have, you can use alert box, right? You can use alert box to display the particular values. Okay, now any of this method can be used to display the message. So you can use any of this, but we are most probably going to use document.write, right? And console.log in a few examples we can use, right? So this is a simple function to add two numbers. Now what kind of UI I want to create over here? I am first of all printing one message, right? Click the button for addition. And after that, I'm using input type is equals to button. Here, buttons on click event is going to be generated. So here we are defining on click. And whenever I click that, so I will call this particular add function, right? So when I click on a button, then add function is going to be called and the logic is going to be executed. Here value is equals to add, that is the label for the button, right? So this is a very simple example. In that we have used HTML as well as script, right? You can also combine the CSS to providing the styles. Now let's execute this code so you will get the better idea how it works. So first of all, if I execute the code, so here you can see that first of all, it will display one message that is click the button for addition. And here is our button. When I click on this button, then my message is going to be printed. Now the message is in this format that we have defined. So addition is in a bold letter and after that a value. So how you can print that? Document.write in a bold addition and plus sum, that is our variable value. So this is a very simple way of creating a function and executing a function in a JavaScript. Is there any doubt in this example, anyone? Anyone, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's go for different types of function declaration. So this one is the simple one, right? Now let's go for another one. Okay, so just concentrate on this particular example that this is a simple function. We have already seen one example earlier. So here get some function and here we are passing the arguments, right? We are passing the parameters, number 1 and number 2. And here we are defining let sum is equals to number 1, number 2, and we are returning the sum. Okay, now here you can see that whenever we are calling this function, so I'm just directly providing document.write get sum, that is 2 comma 3, that will be passed over here and it will be 2 plus 3, and here is a break line, right? So that will be our first output, that is 5. Second one, this one is a new syntax that will be defined in ES5 version, right? Function as an expression you can use, right? So carefully see the syntax over here. First of all, we are defining one variable using let keyword, that is get some expression. So whatever variable you are defining, that name itself is a function, right? How? Is equals to, we are going to use a function keyword. We are passing some parameters, number 1, number 2, and here you can see curly brackets from here to here, right? So the logic is same. Let sum expects one num1 plus num2 and returns the sum, right? But this particular line is a different, right? So you can see over here that our variable name behaves as a function now onwards, right? So now suppose if I want to use this, right? So what happens over here? Document.write get sum 10 comma 10. So that will be copied over here. Here it will be displayed 10 comma 10 and it will display 20. Output will be 20. Now what I can do over here, suppose if I want to use this function any number of times, right? So what I can do that alert is equals to get sum 20 30. So here in alert box it will display 50, right? Now suppose if I want to change the particular variable name to total. So this is possible whenever you are using this kind of particular function expression syntax. So now instead of this particular get sum expression, what I do, I'm defining one another new variable that is my total. I am calling the same function get sum expression 30 50 and I'm defining alert box with the my new variable that is total, right? The function will be the same. You can observe that function will be the same, only we have changed the variable name. So this is only possible with this syntax. So this is the difference between normal function and function expression, right? And here it will display 80 in our alert box. So these are our outputs in alert box. So when I execute, you just observe this 50 80. Okay, now let's go ahead. Okay, now you can observe over here another type of function is known as the arrow function, and that is defined in ES6. Okay, so here you can write a few lines of code and execute the functions. How? So first of all, you can just use this. You can observe the particular syntax const x or let x is equals to number of parameters. X is your function name. These are the parameters x, y, arrow, symbol. In curly brackets, we are using return x multiply by y. Okay, now the same thing we can do over here. Let x1 x is equals to x into bracket 100 200, right? So it will be this. The output will be this. Okay, so what happens over here? Suppose if the same function I'm going to declare, then I need to write function x into bracket x comma y and let some another function, or directly you can let x1 is equals to x multiply by y and return x1. This you can write directly, you can write return x multiply by y, right? But instead of this lengthy syntax, you can just write these things in a one line, right? So this is the arrow function. This is the arrow function, right? So these are the three different ways of expressing, or these are the three different ways of declaring a function. Okay, so now let's execute the code and see the outputs one by one. So first of all, alert box will be executed. So you can see over here when I execute this code. So our first output will be 50, then 80, right? Then 80. Now our document.write objects are going to be displayed. So here you can see that it is 5, 20, and 20,000, right? So it is executed in a sequence in the same way. All right. So these are the different ways of defining function. That's it, guys. Is there any doubt up to this? Anyone in this function syntaxes? Because you have to deal with the functions everywhere, right? And majority of this ES51 is going to be used, right? So you have to be practiced for this kind of function declarations. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's see the particular syntaxes for off and for in. Okay. So now who will say the difference between for off and for in? We have already discussed the theory portion and syntaxes. So can anyone differ the for off and for in?
Sir, for of is used for arrays and for in is used for objects.
Yes, exactly, right? So for off is used for iterating things, right? Strings, arrays, and all that stuff, right? Yes, foreign example, foreign is used to iterate through the objects, right? So objects will see very soon, right, after completing this. But right now, just remember the syntax, how you can use this for off and for in. So suppose, say, for example, I'm defining one array. So here, let keyword is there, and this is my array name, that is letters. And here I have defined some letters, right? So now for let letter of letters, right? What I want to print each and every letter individually. So I can write let letter of letters document dot write letter plus br, that is the break line, right? So one by one it will print all the letters. Here we are putting some horizontal lines, right? Now we are iterating through the string. Okay. So suppose if I iterate through the string, then I can write let greet. Greet is my variable, right? String variable. For let character of greets, document dot write character. And here you can say the line, right? So here you can see how you can use this particular, suppose list is there, right? Some collections are there. So if you want to iterate through that, then you can just go for off, right? So here it's a very simple syntax of for off, but you just need to remember where to use it, right? So if I execute this code, then you can just observe this is the output, right? So you can see that the particular output one by one. So here is the very simple example, that is for off. Now suppose if I want to use a for in, right? So here you can see that just remember the syntax, how you can create the object, right? So here you can see that I have one person object, right? So there is a person, let keyword is there, is equals to, this is the curly brackets and semicolon over here. It's a key value pair. Okay. Now key is a name, value is this, surname, age, and all this, right? Now, suppose if I want to iterate through this particular object, right? So what I can do that here, for let prop in persons, properties in a persons, right? Document dot write property, right, is equals to person into bracket property. So by one, it will iterate through all the properties, that is name, surname, and age, right? And that value will be put over here and it is going to be displayed, right? Let's execute this so you can get the idea. Okay. So here you can see, you can observe that this is our property name, right? And these are the values for it. So this is our person object, right? Into bracket, we are displaying the props like this. Okay, now let's go for one another type, that is array. So here again, we have a collection of fruits, right? Let I in fruits of I, right? And you can see it will display the name of fruits. Okay, so this way you can use for of and for in loop. Okay, and why we are discussing all this, because you have to deal with this maximum number of times. Okay, so this is about whatever we have discussed in earlier sessions, right? Now let's go for another topic, that is how you can create the arrays, right? So let's discuss about the arrays. First of all, how you can create, how you can access, how you can add or remove the elements, how you can merge two arrays and all that. So there are various functions you can perform with the arrays. Now we have already discussed these particular things many a times, what is an array and all that. And you all are aware of the advantages of array over simple variables, right? So here in this example, if you see that the common group is a color, and for that we have defined different colors, color 1, 2, and 3, and we have defined different variables. So this is not the feasible solution, right? So instead of that, what you can do, you can just put the color, all these objects you can store in that one group, that is color group, and after that you can just create the colors, right? So that is the advantage of array over the particular simple variable declaration. Now, what are the different ways of creating an array? So you can see over here that we have a very simple syntax, that where a is equals to new keyword now comes into the picture, and array, right? The second is new array. It can be anything, it can be a string, it combines integers and all that, right? New array of 10, here we are defining the size of the array, and directly also you can define the array as we have defined in our previous example, right? So these are the different ways of defining the array, creating the array. Now, if you want to assign some values to the array, then suppose if my array is a C of 15 is equals to hello, right? So this is one way. Another way is you can go for a push method. So here you can see, here array is a global object. Array is a global object in JavaScript, right? So what is the meaning of this global object? So it has some predefined methods and some properties, right? So it contains some methods and some properties predefined. So you can use all that predefined methods and properties with the use of array, right? So that also we are going to see in examples, but you just need to remember array is a global object in JavaScript. That one statement is enough, right? Okay, now here are the different syntaxes. Variable my array. So normally we are going to use this syntax to define the array directly. Elements, either you can go for this array, new array into bracket this, right? You have already studied this in Java. Now here is the examples of defining some category wise values of an array, right? So it is very simple. Now, how you can access the elements of an array? So suppose this is my array, fruits is an array. So apple, banana, mango, orange, and papaya, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here, right? So now you can see fruits of 0 prints the apple, 1 and 2. Now here fruits dot length. So it will provide the overall length of the particular array, right? And here you can write like this also, -1, right? So the total length -1. Okay, so it's the last element, is the last element, right? So this way you can access the values of an array, right? So now let's go for some examples of an array, how you can deal with it. Okay, so first of all, let's go for the creation of an array. So here you can see, to create array variables, we are just using this normal syntax, color, direct values. Okay, and after that we are printing in a normal way, colors, fruits, cities, and person, right? And we are putting the lines. So if I execute this code, you can see over here the output, right? So as we have discussed that it is an object, you can directly print the values like this, colors, so it will print all the values. Okay, now if you want to access individual values, then you can just go for this syntax or for loop, right? So 0, 1, 2, and this is the last element as we had discussed earlier. Now if you want to print the length of an array, then length property is there, so fruits dot length. Okay, now suppose if you want to access element one by one using loop, then here is the simple loop. We have to define a variable I equal to 0, I less than fruits dot length, I plus plus, and then you can just write document dot write fruits of I, right? So this will print an array. Or you can just go for of loop. Okay, and instead of this providing all these of I things, you just directly write the fruit variable name over here, right? So this will be indexed array, this array, this will be indexed loop, this is not related with the index, right? It will print the values one by one, all the elements. So you just observe this different way of writing the code. Okay, it is not necessary that whatever I am using here you just use it, whatever is comfortable according to the situation, so that you have to use into your coding, right? So suppose if I execute this code, so all the things will be displayed over here, you can see one by one, right? Here you can just differentiate by putting HR, right? I have not put it. So this way you can just simply access the elements in a different ways, right? Now another example of methods. So as we discussed that array is a global object. So what you can do over here, uh, let me explain you a few new things, right? Here you can see this is a one of a way to define an array. So let students new array, and here is a name of students, right? Okay, that's it. Now I'm creating a function, right? So as we know that array is a global object, similarly prototype is also one of the global object, right? So if you want to define a new method or a new property, new methods or new properties, if you want to define in array, apart from predefined methods, right? So what you can do, you can use a prototype. You can use a prototype, right? So here you can see array dot prototype. Why? Because I want to add this particular method function display items into the array. Now let's go ahead. How you can create that? Simple ES5A function. You just go for the brackets for I equal to 0, this dot length, right? So current object dot length, I plus plus current object, which is our current object student, right? This of I, right? Okay. Now let's go ahead. Document dot write students array. After that, we are just directly calling this function students dot display items. Are we clear? Right? Next,
Yes, sir.
document dot write the number of items in a student's array is where we are putting, we are displaying a length. After that, now comes to the inbuilt methods. So we have a sort method, reverse method, right? After that, if I go down, okay, then I have a pop method, I have a push method, right? So I can apply this method directly on my students array object, right? And same time, I'm just using a display item methods to display the entities, right? So what happens over here? So the name of students will be sorted first, and with the use of display items, it will be displayed. Name of the students will be reversed and it will be displayed. Similarly, it will pop the items, the students array after removing the last items, push, so the students array after pushing the items, right? So the new stuff will be added. So here you can see, along with this, we can use a predefined methods also. If I want to create my method, then I just need to go for the syntax array dot prototype and then my function name, right? So this is the magic of array object, right? So here, suppose if I execute this code, so you can see the outputs like this. So first of all, with our student array display item methods, all the students are going to be displayed. The total number of students are 5. Here we are displaying the sorted. Here we are displaying the reversed. Here we are removing the last item. And here we are adding the new item, right? So these are the different ways of manipulating the arrays. Okay, is there any doubt in this example, everyone? Because it's a new one.
No, sir.
Okay, so it is very simple example. You can just go through it, right? And you can practice it for your own, right? Now, after that, there are some, you can say, examples I have created. Some of the things are repeated over here. Suppose say for if I want to add a new elements in an array, so there are different ways I have, right? So to add a new element at the end of an array, so what can we do? We can just use a push method and we can add this element at the end of this, right? Here you can just print the length of a total colors after adding this yellow one, so it will be 4. To add a new element at the beginning of an array, we use unshift method. So this is a new one, right? So suppose by default with the use of push method, we are going to add the element at the end. But suppose if I want to add the element at the beginning, then I just need to use an unshift method. So remember this unshift method, right? Similarly, you can also add more than one items, right? So multiple elements you can also add at a once. If you use a post, then it will be added at the last. It will be, if you use unshift, then you can add that elements at the beginning. Okay, so these are the different ways of adding the elements, right? So if I execute this code, so you can see that we are also displaying the length at the same time, right? You can see over here. So this will be our output. Okay, now let's go for merging an array. Okay, so now in this example, you can see that we have two different arrays. One is a pet and another one is the whiles, right? Now we are creating a new array by combining pets and whiles array. So we are adding both the particular arrays. So we are creating a new variable that is animals, pets, and we are using concat method, right? And for with pets, we are going to concat whiles, and we are displaying our new animal object. So here you can see both the arrays are merged, right? Suppose if I want to merge more than two arrays, so how you can do that? So the same method you are going to use concat method over here. Instead of whiles only, by using comma separator, you can put another array over here. So pets dot concat whiles comma bucks, right? So all three arrays are going to be added now. So these are the different ways of combining arrays, right? So for that, which method we are going to use? We are going to use a concat method, right? So here I have already displayed the output, but let's execute the code so you can get the idea, right? So these are our outputs after executing it, right? After that, what another things you can do? Okay, so this is another thing. By individual elements, you can change like this. So this is a new. So you can observe over here, I am using all the types of creating array syntaxes, right? So here a new syntax we have variable colors new array 4. So it will create the array of 4 size. So we are adding elements like this, normal methods 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 colors we have added. Now individual elements you can access like this. You can change the elements like this, okay, and you can just display it. So this is one another syntax that you can create the array and you can access the elements. You can change the values of array, right? So if I execute this code, then you can see that after changing first and third number of element, it will change to teal and violet. Okay, earlier it was blue and orange. Now it is teal and violet, right? So that change we have made over here, that values we have changed over here. So this way you can modify. And last one is now removing the elements. So to remove the last element from an array, we can use a pop method. So this is my array. I'm just removing the last element, use pop method. To remove the first element, you can shift, right? So unshift method is add the element at the beginning. Shift method is remove the element from the beginning. That's it, guys. Now let's execute this code and you can just observe the output like blue to red to. These are the length after removing the elements. Which one is last one and first one, right? So it's a very simple examples and we have already discussed all the types of array modifications, accessing, and all that stuff. I hope it is clear to everyone. Is there any doubt up to this?